something like that.
Yeah.
She then drove that car another day
Oh,
on the beach.
okay, yeah. Well, anyway, we'll have to see if we can work that out. Some kind of a lunch between you two guys anyway. Whether it includes any of the rest of us or not. I think it'd be fun if you could get together with her, huh?
She was at our meet a year ago or 2 years?
2 years, I think.
2 or 3 years ago, McConchy.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Kenji, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't there. Okay, I didn't see her.
Yeah.
She drove up from Florida to McConchy.
Yeah,
She
she drove up.
Her and her friend.
But I would tell you what she said when I talked to her, and it was really funny. I said, "But they put you in the car because you're small and light, and that, you know, go after." She says, "You jerk! They put me in the car because I win."
Well, I thank you all for keeping the 300 name alive. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the sedans at Chrysler Corporation. I'm not sure I know there's going to be a market for four-door sedans, but I don't know if Chrysler will be on it.
There'll be plenty of used ones available for those that want them. And maybe some brand new ones that are 4 years old sitting in airports around the world.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, people are not buying them. I was talking to your son here about them. He's saying they're stacking them up all over the place. They can't sell
I'm a Joe and Die company, and we haven't had work for 3 months. We're not gonna have work for 2 more months.
them. Is that right?
All the car companies quit all new product. They're rethinking everything, because Ford said that they were gonna get it out of the car business.
But now you're referring only to sedans, not to
I am referring
trucks.
to everything.
Oh,
I do
trucks too?
I do everything. There is no
Yeah.
work out there. I'm
No.
gonna lose 20% of my competition is gonna go out of business.
Wow.
I thought Ford was gonna keep building Mustangs.
They are, but right now
Mustang
they're not
and
building
Focus.
any new tooling. There's
Mustang,
no
no.
new tooling been released in 3 months.
Huh.
September, they're gonna tell the die shop what you're gonna get, and then in October, you're gonna get the purchase orders.
Huh.
I mean, we're starving. I got 6 guys laid off, the other, everybody else is 32 or 24 hours a week. You know, there's no work out there.
Well,
Now,
they have some in-house capacity, don't they?
Who?
GM and Ford.
No, GM pretty much got rid of all of their die shops. Chrysler has very little. I mean, they do some body panels and that's about it.
Now the automation shops, I know.
They're just starting to pick up because they run about 4 to 5 months longer than the dies.
But like JR Automation.
Yeah, they're
I
that's
know a
what we
small
do. We
competitor.
do almost all their big
Okay.
machining,
Yeah.
and we've seen that drop off to, you know, I've laid half my CNC department off.
Really? Okay. Oh, I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
they're all, I mean, it's the JR, my son's an engineer there, director of engineering at one of the facilities. He says they're the only ones that's busy right now.
Yeah.
And they are just now starting to get released, purchase orders.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's, you know, Trump says everything's going great, it is, but I'm telling you, tool and die is going terrible.
They're using 3D printers to make cars now. so-
That's what I keep saying, that's where it's gonna go. You're gonna see these factories with 3D printers as far as you can see,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be printing out body panels.
Yeah, when in your garage. You
Yeah,
need
yeah.
a new car? Just print yourself a new one.
Yeah,
You have a 3D printed car.
It's cool as hell.
Wait,
Download it,
back
all
to the
free.
plans.
Chrysler
Set of
was,
Rams.
If I would've
I
been
was
smart
in
enough early in the
transmission.
morning the other day, I could've downloaded the
Greg had a
AR-15.
Yeah,
I could
right.
be printing those up.
model, the one that goes in the Pacific,
Well, there's plenty
or
of
the
those.
electric one. I said,
John, did you get any feel for the new CEO?
We did it on a 3D
Chrysler,
printer,
yeah.
just kicked it right
Did
out.
you know him? You never met him?
I've seen him in the elevator. That's the extent
Yeah,
of our
they make
interaction.
money on them, the software.
Yeah,
Those guys, it's all-
What floor, sir?
Did you have any assignments in Europe?
No.
Are you right in the Auburn facility? Yeah, that's where my buddy was, and then he got so busy, all the engineers came back, they bumped him across the street into some building.
Yeah, into the old museum.
No, he's across the expressway. And security. Now I think he's back there now because he sets up the, global conference calls. He goes in and sets up the video screens and gets everything going. Gravy train.
John, what's your take on Sergio? I mean, what's the feeling universal? You know, what you read in the papers is like, well, the guy was some kind of a god up there, and like, you know, what, we don't know what we're going to do without him. He really saved the company and all that. I mean, is that what the employees feel, or is
Well,
that mixed?
I don't know, I get, from the Italians
Should we
I
turn
work
the
with.
recorder off?
Yeah. From the Italians I work with, they're much more concerned than the Americans. The feeling is the guy worked 24/7, smoked like a chimney, drank pretty heavy, and sooner or later, you know, things give out. As far as the business side,
Right.
he came in and he took the money, you know, when we came out of bankruptcy and had a vision for us. So the company is debt free, which was his big thing. He wanted to do that before he retired. So he did get that done. But now where we go from here is another story.
Yeah, sure.
Because there was this continual, you know, knocking on GM's door to buy us. Then there was, you know, there must be somebody out there who wants to buy us. It's like, you know, it's like selling vacuum cleaners. If people have a hardwood floor, they really don't need a carpet sweeper,
Right,
do they?
right,
So
Yeah, good point.
it's we'll see what happens with this.
They came very close to becoming a Chinese company just about 6 months ago.
You know.
And then they backed away.
I've got a cousin, and John can verify that,
What's happened to
that's
the
fairly
museum?
close. And
The museum,
basically,
still a museum, or still?
No, the museum became the Alpha Maserati sales headquarters. And all the cars were taken out of there and moved down to Dow, which was the old Detroit trim plant.
Where are they?
Detroit trim plant, yeah, which was on the backside of Highland Park there. And there was some talk about taking Connor, which was the Viper plant, and making that the museum. But that building's still for sale, and we don't think that's gonna happen. That's still, there's a lot of room there, but I don't know. So everything's up in the air. The cars are still there though, that's the good thing.
I paid to have my name put in a brick, is that still there?
I think the bricks are still there.
Well, I'll send those off next year.
The alpha snake is on the wall above your brick, probably.
Sounds like Martin said they aren't making Vipers anymore.
They're not, what?
You said the Connor plant is closed, so they're not making Vipers anymore. Probably everybody's known this for 10 years, but
Yeah, I think we made 3 a day at the end.
Wow.
I mean, when the car came out in 13 from its little hiatus of 3 years, it was too expensive. And then they went and they cut the price like 20 grand or 30 grand, but by that time, you know,
it's over.
yeah.
Do you know if General Motors makes money on Corvettes? They can't, can they?
Oh, they do,
I think you do.
because they got the volume with it.
That's a high
Yeah.
selling vehicle.
I realize that, but there is so much fine engineering in that car for the money you pay for it, it seems to me. I just find it hard to believe that they're making money on it, but maybe so.
Well, they're probably selling 20% of those at $100,000 a piece.
Yeah,
Not the base car.
Yeah,
right.
Base car, I think you can get into for about 65.
yeah.
Only if you're young you can get into it.
The newer ones are better to get into than the old ones, I'll tell you.
Getting in, you just have gravity on your side. Can you get out?
I remember years and years ago, my dad was a little down and out, and I said, you know, you need to do something, spend some of your money, go out and buy a car, buy a Viper.
Yeah.
I don't want a Viper. So go buy a Corvette. So I took him down to the GM dealership, fell into the Corvette. I don't know how I got them out today. Yeah, that was so hard. This was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was slow.
Yeah.
I love XKE so much, but once I'm in there, I'm nailed in there, that's fun. Had to solve it.
I tried to buy a Prowler. It was after Plymouth got shut down. It was the last, it was like probably one of the last, it was the gold Prowler. It was one of the last ones off the assembly line. It was sitting in the Hudsonville showroom, which isn't there anymore. It actually, we came to a good price with 28 grand out the door, brand new. Go to get in it, and the guy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Trying to open the door all the way. That is all the way. I said, well, I can't get in there. It only opened up 45 degrees.
You know, what we're talking about here is actually very important. I think about it a lot, that the 300 had the large coupe door, you know, for an older person, you could get in with some dignity. And, you know, the guy, what was it, Keller, was saying, you know, they had to be high and a big door. We used to laugh at that, but as you get older, there's a market for that. Now they start to jam the four-door sedan down on the B-pillar. You can't get between the B-pillar and the wheel and the seat.
Right.
My wife loved the Durango, the new style, so I bought her out with the Hemi in it, sit out. It had every single option. I hated that thing. My daughter would get in the passenger seat and she wanted to sit forward and up. So I'd get to go into the passenger and I'd get my head stuck. I dropped the seat all the way down. Even then, I couldn't get all the way in without, you know, crouching way down to get in.
There isn't a
One year I
real
could be trading
300
that
now,
thing in.
anywhere. There isn't. Talk about a segment. They reject it though.
They can bring back
I
the
don't
checker
remember
for
all
you.
the numbers, but I had some rule of thumbs for evaluating seating bucks. You know, we'd have, we'd build a three-dimensional seating buck if they had to try it. But one of the dimensions that I insisted on was 13 inches between the rear seat cushion and the B-pillar, or the front seat. Had to be 13 inches. And if they showed me a car with seating buck with 10 inches, then I'd say, well, come back when you make it 13. You know, today, I can't find cars with that 13 inches.
That's right, be even.
There's gotta be none.
I had a Chrysler 300S, the new one. I
Oh,
go
you
there
drive
and
a
pick them
truck.
up. And my dad finally learned he had to sit in the back seat and let my mom sit up front because she would keep yelling, Bert, you need to move your seat forward. And he'd say, it's not the seat, it's the B-pillar. I don't care, move your seat out. She couldn't get her feet in there.
But they, you know, times change.
Well, that's why those swivel seats are so great from 59 to 61 too.
That was neat.
When, again, ladies, forgive me, but this is this was before me at Chrysler. So this is hearsay in a way. But when they showed KT Keller, the new model, they said, no, too low. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, it's too low. He said, we build cars to sit in, not pee over.
What were you gonna say?
That's part of Chrysler's lore, right?
You started
Probably,
talking all of a sudden.
KT probably said it, but I didn't hear it.
I don't understand why the knowledge gets lost, and I've talked to John a few times, but like the 2002 Cherokee, like I drive, they got this perfect. The B-pillar is right in the right place, it's narrow, you can get in and out. I bought a new Cherokee in 3 years, it's got 400 miles on it, I hate the thing. You get in and you fall behind the B-pillar, the front edge of it is here, to your point. If you're to look out, you see the pillar.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, it's like a loss of the knowledge of the older engineers. You need the wisdom.
John, I recommend a Dodge Mega Cab pickup to you. Plenty of room.
Yeah, but the truck is so big.
It's just like,
That way
it's
people
like
get
an
out of the way
aircraft
for it.
carrier.
It's no two-door.
I wonder if that isn't part of why people like SUVs, that you're sitting higher seats,
Right.
easier to get in and out of.
Oh, absolutely, Absolutely right, yeah. I know when before my dad passed away, he was 99 years old, but he, he liked getting in my SUV. And getting in a sedan or back out of a sedan was a really tough struggle for him. He
Yeah,
could-
there's a message there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then when everybody else has got an SUV but you have no idea what's going on the road because you're surrounded with these walls of
Right,
SUVs. You gotta get up there with them.
yeah, right, that's a good point.
You can't tell what they are either. I remember as a kid, I know different models of Oldsmobiles, and you know everything. Every one of them looks like a jelly bean now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially a smaller one,
Yeah.
cookie cutter.
Bert, what was your involvement with the Dodge Charger?
Somebody else repeat that.
Your involvement with
What'd you do on the Dodge Charger?
the Dodge?
Well, I was, timing is everything, The median age of the Dodge buyer, when I went to become chief engineer of Dodge in '64, and I was chief engineer of Dodge from '64 to '68. The median age of a Dodge buyer in 1964 was 50 years old. It was an old owner buyer. Half of the people were older than 50 and half were younger than 50. So the Charger was born out of that need to try to get younger buyers. I don't know the data on the '66 Charger, but the '68 Charger, the median age was 29 years of age. That's 29, half of them were older than 29, half of them younger than 29. We thought, man, we really have arrived. But we shot ourselves in the foot. We were doing great till '75 came along, and the management was bothered by the Grand Prix and the Monte Carlo because they made a lot of money. They sold a lot of them. Rough market, they sold a lot. So they thought that the Cordova, the Chrysler should have one, and it did, which was the Cordova. Now here's where the mistake was made. Dodge had a choice. They could have continued with the old skin, '74 skin, or they could have joined Cordova and used the Cordova skin. The mistake they made, and I'm part of that mistake, incidentally, I'm not separating myself from it, I'm giving you hindsight. The mistake was made to check the Cordova, to decide to do a Charger off the Cordova skin, which was quite a formal looking sheet metal. We knew that we had a little worried about that, so we said to Bill Brownlee, the director of design for Dodge, Bill, put a little hair on it. In other words, make it masculine. And he did what he could. But actually, I can tell you everything was wrong with that from the consumer research we did on it. We brought in old Dodge, current Dodge owners, had them evaluate the new Dodge. We knew we were going to do it, but we were trying to decide how to merchandise it. So we went through it, and the guy after the research walked up to me, he said, Mr. Bouwkamp, he said, that may say Charger on it, but it's not a Charger. And right then, boy, that was crystal clear. That was a formal car, and that wasn't this 29-year-old Charger buyer. We had turned our back on the old buyer, and we didn't get the new buyers, so that was the curtains for Charger. We lasted a couple more years. It was replaced by the Murata, and so on.
Yeah.
But